The banners here at Chrysler Arena don't lie. This Michigan women's gymnastics program sets the standard for excellence in the Big Ten. Tonight, they'll welcome their in-state rival, unbeaten Michigan State, comes here to Ann Arbor. Welcome inside Chrysler Arena. I'm Dan Gutowski. My partner for tonight is Eddie Humphrey. And Eddie, first let's talk about Michigan State. Their head coach, Kathy Klages, says they're focused more on just putting out good routines and not so much good scores, and that's gone very well for them this year.
Well, it shows. Michigan State had a huge opening, upsetting number 11 Penn State, and followed it up with a big win against Iowa last week, leaving them undefeated coming into this competition tonight.
And Michigan, we talk about their success in this conference. What do they do so well that keeps them on top year after year?
Well, they have a great combination, senior leaders, freshman leaders, and they always seem to put it together when it counts.
Let's talk now about the gymnasts we'll be watching tonight for Michigan State. They have two tremendous seniors and one very, very good freshman.
They have a great combination, starting with Rochelle Robinson. She's an amazing combination of power, dynamics. She's hoping to bring that power to the floor tonight to bring them past Michigan. Senior Nicole Curler, captain and leader of this team, coming back from injuries, but so far having a great season. And freshman Shanti Teague, coming off of a big week last week, Big Ten Freshman of the Week, hoping to have another big weekend to beat Michigan.
And Michigan comes in, of course, with a lot of talent and skill on their own. Who are the key gymnasts we'll be watching for them tonight?
Well, number one key is going to be Kylie Botterman. She also had a big week, winning the all-around 2 weeks ago. She's hoping to have that same performance tonight. She's coupled by senior Sarah Curtis. Sarah had a little falter a couple weeks ago, but she's hoping to correct that tonight to bring them past Michigan State. And Natalie Bilstein, 2 weeks ago, Big Ten Freshman Athlete of the Week, hoping to have another big performance just like that to put them up against Michigan State.
So we set the stage, Michigan State, with their biggest event of the year here in Ann Arbor. Our first routine when we come back to Chrysler Arena. Kathy Klages, Michigan State's head coach, has been there for 20 years, but she's lost 8 straight to Michigan. She'd love to change that tonight. Her counterpart, Bev Plotke, has won almost every single Coach of the Year award imaginable here at U of M. As we get set for the start of our first rotation, let's remind everybody about the scoring rules here in women's gymnastics tonight, Eddie.
Well, if each gymnast performs each skill level that they're supposed to perform, then they will be given a 9.5 start value. To get to a 10.0, they'll have to perform different combinations and high level of difficulty to reach that level. Any mistakes that they made, form deductions, or a step or fall on a landing will be deducted from that start value.
And here's our rotation order. As we start rotation 1, Michigan first on the vault, then Michigan State on the bars. Rotation 2, the reversal of that, Michigan on the bars, and then Michigan State on the vault. Rotation 3, starting with Michigan on the beam, and then Michigan State, their floor exercise. Rotation 4, Michigan State on the beam to end things, and Michigan will close this out on the floor. And here's our rotations. In rotation 1, Michigan on the vault. Eddie, who stands out in that first group for the Wolverines?
Well, Brittany Martinez has a great dynamic vault. She can really pump up the crowd with that landing.
And then Michigan State on the bars. Let's key on that performer you think that really excels for the Spartans in that group.
Well, Rochelle Robinson has an incredible vault, has scored perfect 10, only one in Michigan State history to do that.
And we start now as Katie Zerales will get things going with the vault. And she attacks here on our first attempt of the night.
And a good start for Michigan, performing a Yurchenko full twist in the laid out position.
Katie scoring a 9.75 in her first meet of the season.
Katie Zerales, also the 2007 Junior National Vaulting Champion. So this is nothing new to her.
Transfer from Oklahoma, pretty upbeat about what she just turned in. And Michigan again on the vault.
First up, winning for Michigan State, Nicole Argyros.
And Nicole Argyros, the junior from Livonia, Michigan, starting for Michigan State on the bars.
She had a second place tie last week against Iowa and UIC on this event. Begins with a blind full pirouette to a ginger. Transitions to the low bar, strata back to handstand. Back to the high bar where she'll be gearing for her dismount. To a double layout. And a small hop forward. But a good start for Michigan State.
Pretty good first effort for the Spartans. And again, we have Michigan State putting their perfect season on the line. Let's take a look at what she did, Eddie.
And here's her transition from the low bar to the high bar. A little bit of a leg split there. Preparing for a dismount. 2 flips, straight body position.
Brittany Martinez from out west in Colorado, competing in her second college meet.
She had a big start in her first meet, scoring a 9.75.
And now she attacks here.
Performing the same vault. And nearly sticks it.
Good response from this crowd here in Ann Arbor. Her teammates are pumped up.
So far, Michigan off to a solid start. Gets a nice clean block. Good approach to the floor and a solid landing. She seems to be pretty happy about that. All her teammates are enjoying it.
And now we bring in Kelsey Morley from Elkhart, Indiana. Placed in the all-around for the first time in her career at Iowa. She finished 3rd overall. And now we check in on the first score turned in for Michigan State on the bars. Nicole Argueros, the 9.55. So the Spartans hoping to build on that good start.
Last week against UIC in Iowa, she scored a 9.65, tying with teammate Argueros. Performing a Takachev release. Nicely done. And she's going to switch grip here to a straddle back to handstand to the low bar. Blind change full pirouette to an immediate double tuck.
Looked pretty clean until that landing, Eddie. What about that?
Well, it's a very clean routine, but she did take a step on the landing, which she would incur a 10th deduction.
Again, Michigan State hoping for a fast start here as we take a look at what she just did.
And this was a really nice routine. A good routine for Michigan State to build on. This is the setup into her dismount. To a double tuck, and you see the step right at the end.
So the Spartans looking pretty strong early on here. Back on the vault for Michigan as we work our way through the first rotation. Sarah Curtis. Ready to strut her stuff. And we bring in our score from Brittany Martinez, who went second for Michigan on the vault, a 9.8.
It's a good, solid score for Michigan to lead up with only your second vaulter starting on a 9.8. Sarah Curtis is hoping to build on this.
Sarah, a 2-time All-Big Ten first-team selection.
Same vault. And a beautiful landing.
A great stick.
And that really got this crowd and her teammates going. Now take a look at this landing. She doesn't move her feet at all, just plants it. Sticks it cold. And you can see the confidence pouring out of Sarah right now. She's showing that in her performance. Easily done.
Michigan's been very steady so far on the vault with consistently good scores. And now we're back on bars for Michigan State here in our first rotation. Nicole Curler, one of the can-do Spartans for Michigan State, as we take a look at how Kelsey Morley did in her turn on the bar at 9.55. So Michigan State and Nicole Curler, the senior from Bay City, savoring this chance to do well here at Chrysler Arena. She
starts with a clear hip mount to a nice high ginger.
Strata back to handstand, transitioning back to the high bar. And Michigan State could use a big stuck landing right about now. Double layout. Very clean routine.
Not quite the perfect landing, Eddie, but something pretty close to it.
Well, this is definitely a routine that Michigan State needed. Get the ball rolling, get those scores, jump back up. You see here she performs a flyaway with a half turn. It's a ginger. Awaiting her score. Hoping to build on top of the 9.55. We should see a bigger score.
Kylie Boderman on the vault now for Michigan. From New Lenox, Illinois. She is a three-time NCAA All-American. The standards are very high for this young lady.
You can see the intensity in her face right there. Approaching strong. A good vault, just a slight hop.
And again, Michigan has set a very good standard up to now in the first few turns on the vault.
Now let's take a look at this landing. You notice the difference between hers and Sarah Curtis's. Her legs are a little bit more straight as she lands, and she has to take that hop backwards. Another solid vault for Michigan.
Here's what happens when these teams go head-to-head. Again, that Michigan streak of 8 straight on the line. Michigan State hasn't handled the Wolverines here in Ann Arbor in about 20 years. We move to our next competitor on the bars for Michigan State, Deneen Heba. She looks very calm and relaxed as we see the Nicole Curler score on the bar.
And Deneen is a little bit of a taller gymnast, which gives her really nice lines. Very nice Takacha, if you see there. Handstand pirouette to a pack salto, very unique. Nicely done. So far, a very clean routine. This could really get her team going. And an interesting dismount. A toe-on front flip with a full twist. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, would you please refrain from using flash photography.
And take a look here. She does a pirouette to a pack salto. It's a flyaway re-grasp onto the low bar. Keeps on moving. And as she goes to this dismount, she does a toe-on. She actually gets 1 foot on and completes the full twist just before she lands. A nice, unique routine, something different for the judges to look at.
This is Michigan's Natalie Bielstein about being Freshman of the Week. We asked her if she feels more pressure now to perform at a higher level.
I don't feel a lot of pressure at all. I know going into this next meet and going into the last meet, I had a lot of confidence, and I didn't feel pressure at all, and I wasn't nervous. So going into this meet against MSU, I feel no pressure, and I'm pretty excited for my second meet. And hopefully I'll do just as good as I did last week.
It's already making an impact for this Michigan gymnastics team. Big Ten Freshman of the Week coming into this meet against Michigan State.
Well, hold on to your seats for this vault. Yurchenko 1.5. Nailed it. That was huge.
An instant smile from Natalie Bielstein, the freshman.
Oh, Michigan is going to jump out to an early lead here. This is different. She performs an extra half twist, one more half twist extra than everybody else performed. Take a look at the amplitude and just nails it. Doesn't move.
Tremendous finish for Natalie on her first turn on the vault. And here's Rochelle Robinson, one of the mainstays for this Michigan State team on the bars. 2 ankle surgeries for her over the summer. And she appears to be healthy and ready to rock and roll here at Chrysler Arena.
And what I love about Rochelle is that she is such a dynamic athlete. Coming up right here, one of the biggest Takachas in the entire competition that we'll see. maybe one of the biggest in the country. So much fast twitch muscle. Big dismount. But unfortunately, she has to take a big step. She tapped a little bit early into that dismount and landed just slightly short. You know, on this dismount, she taps a little bit low. Her toes don't get up enough, which pulls her off the bar and has to take a step. Michigan State's solid on the bars, but they're going to have some work to make up for when they come to the vault.
Here on the vault with Maureen Moody. Again, she's right in the heart of enemy territory, an East Lansing native.
Her brother was actually a pitcher for Michigan State. Now plays for the Detroit Tigers organization. And a nice clean land. Now this vault doesn't have as much difficulty as we saw before, but Michigan already has their 5 scores to count on, so they most likely won't have to count this score. Same Yurchenko vault entry, laid out position, and a step on the line.
So Michigan continues to be very steady in the first routine on the vault here in Ann Arbor. And here's one of the super freshmen for this Michigan State team, Shanti Taiki.
Michigan State is in need of a big routine right now to build on Rochelle Robinson's 9.675.
She is the Big Ten Freshman Gymnast of the Week, and she starts now on the bars.
What I love about this athlete is her humble confidence. She's not letting this Big Ten Athlete of the Week go to her head. She's extremely excited about it, but she's ready to prove herself today here in Ann Arbor. So far, she's looking very good. Pirouette, half turn to a double tuck. And a good, solid routine. Nice job from the freshman. Here she's setting up for a dismount. Front giant to a half turn. To an immediate double tuck. And just a small step on the landing, but a solid routine from Michigan State.
You can see Michigan strong across the board as they put up 49.075 on the vault in rotation 1. Michigan State's trying to keep up as they were on the bars, but a little bit short of that 49 mark, but very consistent across the board. Rotation 2 when we come back here to Ann Arbor's Chrysler Arena. So the scores from our first rotation are up on the board. You can see pretty close between Michigan and Michigan State. The Wolverines on the vault and Michigan State on the bars in that first rotation. On Monday, February 1st, Michigan State and Minnesota showcased their skills in a Big Ten gymnastics match. 10:30 p.m. Eastern in HD on the Big Ten Network. And here's what's coming up here in our second rotation. Michigan on the bars. Eddie, what's the good in that group?
Well, you'll be looking forward to see Kylie Boderman try to close out this rotation with another big routine. She's a big, dynamic athlete, huge release, huge dismount. Could be big for Michigan.
Michigan State will take their turn on the vault. What about that group?
Well, Rochelle Robinson might just be the best vaulter in the country, so hold on to your seats for this vault.
And trying to start strong in our second rotation. The Spartans are now on the vault. And this is Kelsey Morley. And that was her score from the bar in the first rotation. Now she'll start the second rotation here on the vault. A season best vault score back on January 8th.
A unique vault. That is a lot of twisting happening at one time. A full twist onto the horse, a 1.5 twist off of the horse. That's a lot to think about in such a short amount of time.
Very ambitious.
Take a look at this. Full twist, 1.5 twist.
She never stopped twisting.
She's the only one in the competition competing this vault.
And now we move to Michigan, starting on bars, Kelsey Knutson.
First up on the uneven bars for Michigan, Kelsey Knutson.
One of 3 captains for the Wolverines.
Moody is on tap.
Beginning her routine with a Stalder circle to a toe up. She's going to do a blind change to a Jaeger. Front flip, re-catch, nicely done. And she's really going after those handstand positions. Setting up for her dismount. She's going to do a blind change full pirouette to an immediate double back. Here it is. A good routine, but gave away some tense there with the steps.
She was all Big Ten second team a couple of years ago, and here's how this routine ended.
Again, the blind change full pirouette. And she looked good in the air, but didn't quite find the landing as well as she could.
So Michigan State trying to make up some ground here in our second rotation. Nicole Argueros with a good score on the bar in the first rotation. She'll try to top that here on the vault for Michigan State.
Performing another Yurchenko vault.
She posted identical scores of 9.8 on vault in both meets this season.
And she could be very close to that 9.8 again. A vault nicely done. Coach Klages is very pleased. Same vault that we saw performed earlier. Yurchenko full twist. In the air, her feet are just a little bit flexed. So she'll probably get about a 1/2 tenth to a 1/10 deduction if the judges catch it. But a nice solid vault.
Good job, Kels.
Maureen Moody now with her score on the vault that ended Michigan's first rotation. And now she's going to go on bars.
Now this is a very unique release coming up here. Only one to do it in the meet. It's called a Horkina. To a straddle back handstand, transition to the low bar. She's going to gear up for her dismount. Full twisting double back. 2 flips, 1 twist. And a huge routine.
She tied for 4th on bars with a 9.8 score in Michigan's first meet of the season.
She was also the runner-up last year on this event at the Big Ten Championship. Because of this reason here, nailing landings.
Steady as she goes on the landing, and Michigan excelling here in our second rotation. That's Nicole Curler now. That was her score on the bars from the first rotation. Now she'll attack. She'll attack here in Michigan State's second rotation.
She was second team all Big Ten last year.
Very upbeat and optimistic. You get that way when you're a senior.
Well, you've been through so many competitions that it just becomes a regular routine and hopefully becomes easier. And a nice dummy, a nice vault. Yurchenko layout half. We haven't seen that vault yet. And a good response from her teammates. Another Yurchenko entry in the layout position, and she's going to do a 1/2 twist, which is still the same start value as a Yurchenko full twist. She's very happy about this routine.
Brittany Martinez after a strong score on the vault in the first rotation. Now she's ready for the bars. Right up, tied for runner-up back in the first meet of the season for Michigan.
Right off the bat, she takes a big risk doing a shapash, short for Shapashnikova. A clear hip over the low bar, catching the high bar. Another combination, huge release. Full twisting double tuck. And a good routine from Brittany.
Again, fans, you are reminded.
The landing probably wasn't what she wanted, but boy, there was a lot of athleticism on showcase here in this routine.
Now check out this mount. She's going to go all the way over the low bar, catch the high bar. And this Tkachev was sky high. Look at the amplitude. It was a great routine, just the big step on the landing.
She shot big, and we'll get her score in just a moment, see how she did on the bars. And we're on the vaults now for Michigan State, as Tyke, with that 9.675 score on the bars in MSU's first rotation.
Last week in MSU's big win over Iowa, she scored a 9.8. Good vault, great amplitude on the horse, big block. Coach Klages loves it.
She had identical 9.8 scores on the vault in Michigan State's first two meets of the season.
Yurchenko full twist. Very nice height off the horse. And just the little steps that we're seeing from both teams, those will add up in the end.
Jordan Sexton next up for Michigan on bars. One of the captains for this Michigan team. Not her strongest event.
This routine has the potential, if she nails it, could go huge, but it's a very risky routine. Starting right here with the Tkachev into a straddle back. And she's going to do a very risky dismount. She's going to do a blind change into a double front. It's a blind landing. You can't see a thing. And she does it very nicely. She had trouble with that in the last competition, but seemed to be okay with it now. Now this is the only dismount you're going to see today, going forwards this way. Double front. And finds her landing.
She puts a lot of different elements into that routine on the bars. Deneen Haba back after a 9.55 score on the bar in the first rotation for Michigan State. She's stronger on the vault. Season high 9.775 score back on January 15th.
And another Yurchenko layout half. Now what's different about that layout half than Nicole Curler's, same vault, but she performs the half twist just a little bit later than Nicole Curler. She really shows the layout position with a late half.
So a misstep on the landing, but otherwise a solid routine for Michigan State. Michigan's Sarah Curtis, a strong score on the vault to get things rolling from the senior. And she'll try to match that score now on the bars.
And she is a Big Ten champion on this event. Nice release to Tkachev. And she's going to perform same release we saw earlier from Michigan State gymnast, a pack salto. Flyway regrasp on the low bar. Nicely done. Setting up for her dismount. She's only going to do 2 giants. Usually gymnasts do 3. 2 giants into her double layout. Another solid routine from Sarah Curtis.
And she ends it with a rock-solid landing. Sarah Curtis, the model of consistency for this Michigan program.
She's so calm in her competitiveness, but so confident. She calls herself a quiet leader. Teammates love it, excited.
They're feeding off of Sarah's efforts. Michigan State's and Rochelle Robinson looking pretty relaxed as she gets set for her effort here on the vault.
Now this is the vault that I tell my athletes at Gym America to watch. Now watch how high she gets off the horse. So much amplitude in the air. She has scored a 10.0 on this event.
She came on strong.
Her block is so quick off the horse. And huge height. And a nice flare in the air. She opens up so early, spots the floor so soon.
A very aggressive attack there for Michigan State on the vault, and Rochelle Robinson closing out the vault efforts for Michigan State.
Come on, Chef.
Michigan with Kylie Bonnerman finishing out the second rotation on the bars. And again, Bonnerman very strong on the vault. In the first rotation, let's see what she can deliver here on the bars.
She is currently ranked 4th in the nation on bars. This is a normal combination that we saw. Oh, she missed it. And that is very uncharacteristic of Kylie. I don't think I've ever seen her miss that release before. She's going to keep going on with the routine.
Not an easy thing to do mentally to regroup after a mistake like that, right?
You know, it's really tough. You get into a great rhythm, and it just breaks your rhythm in half, and it's so much harder to get back up there and try to finish the rest of your routine.
So one of the rare mistakes for Michigan.
You see that pirouette turn was just a little bit late. Comes past the bar just a little too far, and that was just enough to take her off.
And so Michigan will end the second rotation on that unfortunate routine. Here's Michigan's numbers on the bar in rotation 2. Most of those scores pretty good, keeping Michigan right in the thick of it here in Ann Arbor. And Michigan State, their turn on the vault. A lot of good numbers there for MSU to be happy about. Pretty consistent all across the board for the Spartans. Kathy Klages, the Michigan State head coach, joining us now. Kathy, you talked about your strength for this team coming in, being very good on the vault. What are your impressions of what your team has done so far?
Well, we're happy that we hit 6 for 6 on vault and bars. I felt that we didn't have as good a landings as we had the last week that we competed, and so we do have some work to do on that event. But overall, we're pretty pleased.
Coach, so far you guys are off to a good start. What do you tell your team to keep that momentum going through these next 2 events?
Well, we just keep concentrating on hit routines, and now we're 12 for 12 so far. We're 50% done, and so we'll just keep concentrating on hitting routines and showing off for the crowd.
Thanks, Kathy. Best of luck for the rest of tonight. Good luck.
Thank you.
Lots more to come from Chrysler, Michigan on the beam, and Michigan State on the floor. Rotation 3 coming up in just a moment. Here's how things stand as we get set for our third rotation that starts in just a moment. Boy, not much separation at all as You can see that Michigan State hanging tough with the Wolverines here in Ann Arbor. The Big Ten Network looking for its most passionate fans with Big Ten super fans. The Big Ten Network wants to reward its loyal viewers with chances to win great prizes like tickets to a Big Ten game, autographed memorabilia, electronics, and much more. Register now at BigTenNetwork.com. And here's what's coming up in our third rotation. Eddie, Michigan on the beam. What looks good on that group?
Well, Kylie Botterman, she had a rough start on the bars, but she's hoping to redeem herself with a big performance on the balance beam.
And Michigan State, they've got their floor routine coming up here. A lot of good ones. Nicole Curler at the bottom. She always performs well for MSU.
She's an anchor for floor, but she's just the person you want in that position.
Here's Kelly Moffitt as Michigan State gets set to start the floor routine here in this third rotation.
She posted a 9.8 in Michigan State's big victory over Penn State.
And a 9.8, a season high on her floor routine against Penn State, West Virginia, and Western Michigan back on January 8th. Here she goes.
Mounting with a double pike. A big step backward. She did step out of bounds. Doing her dance series to the corner. Front full to a front tuck. A high energy routine. Moving to the corner, preparing for her last tumbling pass. A round out flip pad to a front full. A good finish.
Again, her season high is that 9.8. Spartans need every point they can get here in this third rotation.
And with that step out of bounds, what that's going to do is that's going to lower her start value to a 9.9 instead of a 10.0.
So we start our third rotation with Kylie Botterman, ready after a unfortunate score on the bar in Michigan's last rotation.
And that's always hard to come back from, especially being last up on bars and being first up on beam. You really have to let that go to get prepared for your next event. Let's see how she responds to it. That was a standing back layout that we saw. Looking poised. And the balance beam being only 4 inches wide. It's amazing what these athletes can do.
She had a 9.7 on the beam in Michigan's first meet of the year.
And great redemption. And that's what you want to see from your athletes, is coming back from a big fall and redeeming themselves with a huge routine.
Maybe it's good for Kylie that she had a chance to come back right away in this beginning of the third rotation.
Well, she definitely learned from it, and learned from it quick. Sticking that landing, a great way to start off beam.
And now Kelsey Morley in the third rotation for Michigan State. Spartans on the floor. Kelsey with good numbers on the vault tonight here against Michigan.
Her high is also a 9.8. posted in a quad meet with Penn State, West Virginia, and Western Michigan. A double full.
Eddie, do gymnasts make a point to keep tweaking and modifying these routines throughout the course of the year?
Oh, definitely. All year, usually these athletes are trying to add skills and add that extra little oomph that gives lets the judge see the next step in the routine. So it's an ongoing process. Finishing her second pass with a double full. So far, so good. See teammate Rochelle Robinson dancing in the back, adding some energy to the team. Last pass, a front 1.5 twist. She's a great twister going forwards, as we saw in the vault earlier.
She's averaged 9.725 in the 2 floor routines in competitions for Michigan State this year. And let's take a look at her second pass.
This is an interesting combination. She's going to do a front step out, tumble through to round up back handspring, double full. And later in the routine, she dismounts with a front 1.5 twist.
Pretty upbeat after the floor routine for Kelly Moffitt for Michigan State. And now the Wolverines on the beam. Here's Brittany Martinez. Good numbers on her bar. See what she does here on the beam for the University of Michigan.
The Sexton is on deck.
Kylie Bodman, previously on the beam, scored a 9.825. It's a big score for your leadoff. Right up a handspring layout step out. And she just can't hold on to it. Now this is tough when your early athletes fall. You have 4 more routines because the top 5 scores count towards the team score.
And that puts a little more pressure on everyone that follows her.
It does. Each person is going to need to hit after her so they won't have to count that fall. Small wobble. Looks to be a little cautious. Ready for her dismount. A round off, 1.5. And a couple big steps forward.
Well, this is one she'd love to redo again. Let's take a look back here at this.
Well, you can see here in her back handspring and her hips turn out just enough to the left to throw her off the beam. The dismount, just a little too much power. Has to take the big steps forward. Hopefully a routine that Michigan will not have to count. The next 4 athletes are going to have to come up big.
Michigan State continuing with Emily Lopatovsky, the 3rd competitor for them in the floor routine.
Scored a 9.75 last week. Double pike. And another step out of bounds. We're seeing some key mistakes from both teams right now in the 3rd rotation.
She does not have a lot of experience on the floor exercise.
Double tuck. Good solid landing. It's a fun routine. Getting ready for her last pass. Front handspring, front full to a front tuck. A good finish. But again, with the step out of bounds, she'll have a 9.9 start value instead of a 10.
Her career best is a 9.9. But that was last year in February against Pittsburgh. This is her first competition in the floor this year.
She had such a big tumbling pass. Just too much energy and has to step out of bounds. Second pass comes back with a really nice double tuck.
Redeems herself a little bit.
She did. And finished well with a front full to a front tuck.
Steady things here in this third routine. Kelsey Knutson on the beam.
Curtis is on deck.
3 competitors in, and they already have 2 falls, so they really need some hit routines right now.
Kelsey at 9-7. Michigan's first meet of the season on the beam.
And you can see her knee wrap. She's had some problems in the past with that knee. Very nicely done, series. Aerial to a back handspring step out. Full turn, a requirement. So far, she's looking solid. Needs to finish this routine strong. Just a dismount remaining. And trying to get Michigan back on track.
Good lift by Kelsey Knutson. And she stabilizes things for the Wolverines here on the beam in this third rotation.
There's some pretty intricate moves here. And you can see her toes curling over the beam, almost like fingers just holding her on there.
Not an easy thing to do. And she certainly does get the support from her Michigan teammates after a good routine. And here's Shanti Taiki, who scored so well on the vault for MSU.
In her efforts as Big Ten Freshman of the Week last week, she scored a 9.8 on this event, giving her a second place finish. First pass, round up a handspring, double tuck. A lot of movement, a lot of energy in this routine. From handspring, front loud to a front full. So far, she's been on today. Very unique dance. One last pass. Open handspring to Rudy. All right, and another solid routine from Michigan State. They're inching their way back closer to Michigan.
Plays well to the crowd here at Chrysler Arena. A lot of good moves in this routine here for Shanti Taiki for Michigan State.
Here's second pass, a front layout. So a nice high front layout full. Good technique.
A lot of happy faces on the side for Michigan State.
Teammates enjoying the experience.
And we go back to the beam now for Michigan. Sarah Curtis. Great numbers on the bars for the Wolverines. What can she do here on the beam? She can do pretty darn well. A 9.825 in the Michigan's first meet of the season.
She's a two-time All-Big Ten first-team member.
Runner-up on both bars and beam for Michigan in their first meet.
Usually a pretty consistent performer for Michigan. Looking good so far. Switch leap to a back handspring on one hand. She has a big dismount prepared. She's going to do a round off into a double back. Let's see if she can execute it. And she does. Another big routine from Sarah Curtis.
So Michigan a little shaky on the beam early in this rotation, but they have solidified quite a bit from the last two efforts.
Right here we see the dismount. Nice high punch. You see how high she tumbles above the beam.
And that is getting Michigan's spirits lifted quite a bit here at Chrysler Arena.
Bringing the smiles back.
Next up, Nicole Curler for Michigan State. We asked her about where she sees this team being at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, I see my team on the podium at Big Tens and making a top 2 finish at regionals and being at the national championships. I think we would be really excited with that, obviously, but as long as we end the season being really successful or more successful than last season, I think we'll all be really happy with that too.
Michigan State can make a big jump in the standings with this routine right here.
Curler averaging a 9.763 in the 2 Michigan State meets this year on the floor.
Says one of her pregame rituals, she loves dancing with her teammates in the locker room before the game. And she shows it here in this routine. A lot of energy. And her teammates are starting to feed off of it. You can hear them cheering in the background.
Anything especially unique about this routine, Eddie?
Well, she's very keen on her landings. We saw some of her teammates before take some key steps out of bounds and a couple extra steps, but she's really going after those stuck landings. Not giving anything away to the judges. Last pass. Up front, Rudy. Nice and dynamic. A solid showing from Michigan State on the floor.
And they got a lot to be happy about after what they've done in this third rotation. And we take a look at Nicole's first pass here in the floor routine.
Look how solid she is in her landing. She doesn't second guess. Big double pike and sticks it.
Next up on the Peddlers beam for Michigan.
Here we see a Rudy punch to a prone fall. Adds a little extra to the routine. And her teammates have to be feeling good about their performance and the team's performance as a whole, getting prepared to go to their last event beam where they're very strong.
So Michigan's miscues on the beam prove very costly in that third rotation. And there's the numbers with Michigan struggling to step up and perform well on the beam here at Chrysler Arena. Here's Michigan State on the floor. Their numbers a lot steadier. Eddie, they're in good shape.
Well, Michigan gave away a lot of deductions and allowed Michigan State to get right back in this game. It's going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the last routine.
We'll talk now with Michigan head coach Bev Plotke. Bev, obviously you want to get off to a good start. To talk about your first rotation on the vault, what were your impressions?
I was very happy and excited with how we performed on the vault tonight. We had three freshmen in there, excuse me, and I was very pleased with the outcome.
And we saw a big performance from both Brittany Martinez, Natalie Bilstein, both the freshmen. How big is that for your freshmen to come up that big this early in the meet?
I mean, it's really big, and Katie Zerales was in there in the leadoff position too, and she's a freshman. So, you know, to come out in front of a big crowd and in front of television for the first time, these kids are experiencing all this kind of big time stuff for the first time. So to maintain their composure and hit the way they did is pretty cool.
Bev Plotke, the head coach for Michigan, thanks so much for your insight.
Thank you.
Michigan getting pumped up for a big finish in this fourth rotation. Coming up next here from Chrysler Arena. The Spartans giving Michigan all they can handle through three rotations here at Chrysler Arena. And the Wolverines trying to get back and steady things after a rocky ride in that third rotation.
Only a half a tenth lead for Michigan, so they're going to have to be consistent and steady on the next event if they want to hold this lead.
Next Saturday at noon Eastern, it's Penn State and Michigan in men's gymnastics. Next week in high def on the Big Ten Network. And here's what's coming up in rotation for Michigan State on the beam. Eddie, that's a pretty good group right there.
Michigan State is #1 in the Big Ten on the beam, so a big performance. They could come ahead of Michigan.
And Michigan, who will respond for them in this floor exercise?
Well, they're looking for a big routine from freshman Natalie Bilstein, performing a new skill, raving double front. We'll see if she hits it.
And here's Michigan State's Rochelle Robinson starting this rotation on the beam for MSU. Great numbers on the vault from this Spartan senior. Hoping for a big finish here on the beam.
Says the best advice she could give to young gymnasts is patience. And that is key on this event. If you rush your gymnastics, there's a good chance you're going to be off the beam.
She scored a 9.8 on the beam. Back on January 15th.
A front aerial to a back handspring. Same series that we saw Jordan Sexton perform in the last rotation. So far, a good routine.
You can see her ankles are pretty well taped up, because again, she had the ankle surgeries over the summer.
2 surgeries, as a matter of fact. And a big start for Michigan State on the beam. A stuck routine. Not easy to do. And she's going to dismount off the side of the beam here. 2 back handsprings to a full off to the side.
Flashing those pearly whites. And we go with Michigan and Brittany Martinez. This is one of her stronger events.
Now, right off the bat, she's going to be taking a lot of risk here. She's going to do a full twisting double back, A double tuck with a full twist on the first flip. See if she can execute it. And she does. One and a half to a layup. Very clean. Jackie Kramer on the floor, only a 9.05. Wolverine's going to need to build on that score.
We'll be scrutinizing all those scores very closely from both squads the rest of the way out, given the overall scoring and how tight things are in this fourth rotation.
She has to nail this last landing. A double pike, and she does. A clutch performance from the freshman. 2 excellent landings in this routine for Brittany Martinez. That was a much-needed routine right there.
Poised under pressure by the freshman from Colorado Springs. As we take a look at her first pass.
Again, a full twisting double back. A full twist on the first flip. And on the dismount, a double pike. And brings it home for the Wolverines.
Something for the Wolverines to applaud for, which hasn't been happening too much as of late for the Maize and Blue. Michigan State on the beam. Here's Emily Lopatovsky.
Next up on the Memphis beam for Michigan State.
9.750 on the beam against Iowa. And UIC back on the 15th of January. So this is a pretty good event for her, Emily.
Looking to capitalize off of Michigan's fall. And she wobbles, but she saves it. When asked why she loves gymnastics so much, she said it's because it builds character. Full turn. Just a dismount. Oh,
she held it. Close, but she held it.
She's fighting through this routine.
And a clean dismount for Michigan State's Emily Lopatovsky, the senior from Waymart, Pennsylvania.
Michigan State off to a hot start so far. Now this is an interesting dismount. She's going to do an actual gainer backflip, doing a backflip moving forward. Not easily performed, that dismount, but she does it very well.
And now the Wolverines and Sarah Curtis. Good numbers on the beam. She's been a steady performer for Michigan. And they'll need all that she can give them right now. In her floor routine, she had a 9.75. Michigan's opening effort of the season.
And the same pass that we saw from Brittany Martinez, another full twisting double back. She says she's a quiet leader, but she needs a loud routine right now. And that's a new pass from Sarah. You can hear all the floor routine music that the Wolverines are performing from today are actually put together from one of the gymnasts on the men's gymnastics team here at Michigan, Thomas Kelly.
She was a 5-time Big Ten Gymnast of the Week last year. So Michigan knows they can lean on her for a steady effort and strong performances.
And this is just the type of performance that Michigan needed. A great reaction from the crowd.
And a great reaction from her teammates, too.
And this is a new pass from Sarah. It's a front 1.5 twist to a punch layout. This is the end of her routine here. Finishing off with nice dance. Getting a good reaction from her teammates, trying to bring some of the spirit back into this program.
And Michigan State ready with Kelly Moffitt about to take the beam. Season high in the beam, a 9.675 score at Iowa back on January 15th.
She said her favorite place to be is Spartan Stadium on game day, but I guarantee she would love to be in this position with the opportunity to knock off an in-state rival. And she's solid on her series. A small wobble, but she saves it. Just a small deduction, but she's not giving away the big deduction of the fall. That could be key.
You notice that she's kind of biting her lip.
I would be nervous too. All right, a good routine from Michigan State, one they can use.
Kathy Clages smiling about that one. High fives around everybody for Michigan State.
Her dismount, a round off to 1.5 twist, and a good stuck landing. And look at the reaction from her teammates. They know it's big.
And back on the floor with Michigan's Jordan Sexton.
Next up on the floor is
one of the tri-captains for the maize and blue.
Trying to recover from her 9.05 on the balance beam.
And she did not score well for Michigan in their opening meeting. A 9.1 here on her floor routine. Let's see if she's improved.
This is a 2.5 to a punch front. She almost stepped out there, but she saved it. She will get a deduction for having to lift her leg up like that. From full to a pike. Feeding a lot of energy into the crowd right now. You can probably hear the clapping in the back along with the beat. Needs a strong finish. A 1.5 punch loud. A strong performance from Jordan Sexton, keeping Michigan in the game.
Beth Plotke had huddled the team up to try to give them a little energy boost and a little inspirational talk, and certainly Jordan Sexton able to respond.
And here's the first pass where she saved it narrowly. A 2.5 twist, nice and tight, front tuck. And narrowly saves it.
And here's the last pass dismount.
Executed nearly perfectly. Sigh of relief from her teammates. Already supporting her teammate for the next routine. She knows what's at stake.
Michigan State's
Next up on the balance beam for Michigan
on the
State,
beam
Kelsey Morley.
in this final rotation. Here's Kelsey Morley. And the junior with good numbers on the beam, a 9.6 in Michigan State's first meet, then a 9.85 in meet number 2.
Vegas has always counted on her for a big beam routine. She said she contributes her success to visualizing each routine 3 to 5 times before going. A small wobble, she's going to lose connection there. She was second last week on this event. That's Iowa and UIC. A nice series. Front Rudy.
And a good dismount for Michigan State by Kelsey Morley.
Again, a great twister. She shows it on that dismount, sticking the landing. See just how precise you have to be here. There is no room for error.
So Michigan State keeping the pressure on with a good routine from Kelsey Morley on the beam. Michigan's Natalie Bielstein on the floor routine here. And this is a very good event for this freshman, 9.850.
We're going to see a big tumbling pass right off the bat. It's very risky. It's an Arabian double front, a complete blind landing. See if she can put it to her feet. Here it is. And she does. Beautiful. Really playing to the crowd right now. It's a very energetic routine. Double turn. Another requirement. Now watch this pass. Only one performing this. A front double full to a punch layout. Very hard to do. A little bit of breakdancing in there.
What a bright future for this Michigan freshman. She already shows the poise of an upperclassman.
And she's going to have to be big here on this last pass. Double pipe. Stuck. A huge routine for Michigan.
That is a crowd booster for Michigan. What a lift at a great time for the Wolverines.
Freshman already stepping up as a leader of this team. Now check out this pass. A front double full, and she punches out of it. And finishing with a double pike to another stuck landing. Big reaction from her teammates. Another sigh of relief, but they have one more routine to go. Kylie Boderman, and she has to hit.
And now it's Nicole Curler on the beam for Michigan State. This is the right person at the right time for MSU, averaging a 9.850 on the beam.
And I'm sure she has waited for this moment. 4 years in the perfect position. Last routine for the Spartans against their in-state rivals. How big would it be if she were to hit this routine? A small wobble, but she stays on. She's fighting for every 10th. She's currently 8th in the country on this event, 1st in the Big Ten. The perfect person to put up in this situation.
But a lot of pressure.
Switch leap, so switch leap.
And the side dismount for the finish for Nicole Curler.
Well, that was a big performance for Michigan State. It puts all the pressure on junior Kylie Boderman of Michigan. Another dismount off the side. And she executes it perfectly.
So the Spartans will have to wait and watch now with their final turn on the beam turned in by Nicole Curler. And now it's Kylie Boderman. Big numbers on the beam for Michigan, but she's hoping for a big finale here.
And this meet will come down to this routine right here.
She had a 9.7 on her floor routine in Michigan's first meet of the year.
Big pass. Full in the pike position. This is another fun routine to watch. One that the crowd really gets into. Front handspring, front full, punch pike. So far, so good. Pulling out the old school robot. To the ninja roll. And it's going to come down to this double back. Right here, right now. Well done.
She get that back heel on the mat, and there's the finish.
Just inches away from going out of bounds, but a big routine.
So Kylie Boderman hoping for a big finish for Michigan. Here's the first pass in this routine.
She does a full twisting double pike.
And the last pass in the dismount.
Doing a double tuck. And narrowly keeping that foot in bounds.
Poise under pressure for Kylie Boderman for Michigan. And everybody's a little bit anxious here at Chrysler Arena as the Final numbers from the fourth routines will get tabulated. Michigan needed big numbers in the fourth rotation, Eddie. For the most part, they got them.
Well, they pulled themselves together and had a tough start, but finished strong with Natalie Bilstein and Kylie Botterman's 9.825.
Here's Michigan State numbers. They're on the beam for that fourth rotation. Pretty good. A very, very tight contest here as we move through our fourth rotation. We'll add everything up and figure out who won and who lost in this showdown in Ann Arbor between Michigan and Michigan State. A very competitive night here in Ann Arbor, but Michigan just getting by Michigan State. A lot of great individual efforts tonight. Let's honor them right now, Eddie.
And the night got started off the right way with freshman Natalie Bilstein on the vault, hitting a perfect landing.
Sarah Curtis was steady throughout the night for Michigan, especially on the bars.
Well, she showed great leadership, hitting a big routine, big double layout, big results for Michigan.
And she was steady down the stretch, and again, also strong on the beam as well for the Maize and Blue.
Again, where Michigan struggled, she was able to step up and show leadership.
A tremendous effort from her, and then the floor winners, 2 identical scores. Here's a very good one for Michigan.
And this was an incredible full twisting double pike we saw from Kylie, stepping up, redeeming herself after a fall on bars. Natalie Bilstein continued to shine as a freshman.
And Sarah Curtis, the all-around winner tonight. What a great night for that senior.
It was big for her, and it was big for her team because they really needed her efforts tonight.
Michigan holds off Michigan State. On Monday, February 1st, Michigan State and Minnesota showcase their skills in a Big Ten gymnastics match, 10 p.m. Eastern in high def on the Big Ten Network. For Eddie Humphrey, I'm Dan Gutowski. So long from Ann Arbor.